Hello, everyone. Welcome to the sixth episode on Walkthrough with Bhagavad Gita by Shipra Uppal. This episode is dedicated towards presenting the ninth chapter, Raj Vidya Guhyam Yog, and 10th chapter, Vibhuti Yog, in a nutshell. Let us begin with our understanding on the essence of chapter 9, Raj Vidya Guhyam Yog. Jai Shri Krishna. In the 8th chapter, Shri Krishna described the endless cycle of creation and dissolution of the universe and how all beings are stuck in that cycle. In this chapter, he began to reveal an extremely profound and secret knowledge to Arjuna that would allow him to escape this endless cycle. That knowledge is devotion or bhakti towards Ishvara. It is the easiest mean of obtaining liberation, easier than performing rituals or penance or renouncing the world. Just as a pearl is hidden in a shell, the essence of Bhagavad Gita is hidden in the middle of the conversation. Chapter 9 is the middle of chapter 18, is a middle part of all the chapters. Here Sri Krishna outlines the king of all the knowledge and the most secret of all secrets. He explained the essence of Bhagavad Gita, the spiritual practice, and the ultimate goal of life. Shloka 9.2 says, Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitra Midamuttamam Praktya Avagamam Dharmam Susukam Kartumavyayam. This knowledge is the king of science, king of education, and the most profound of all secrets. It purifies those who hear it because it gives direct perception of the self. So it is the directly realizable in accordance with dharma, easy to practice and everlasting in effect, and is joyfully performed. Here shlokas 1 to 3 talks about knowledge. Shri Krishna explains for the knowledge as the most confidence part of Gita. Knowledge illuminates the true position and nature of the soul in relation with God. There is a belief that trust in God is intellectually and philosophically immature. However, logical and rational analysis of the complex design and integrate engineering of the creation makes it evident that there must be some conscious intelligence behind it. To empathetically deny this, a stubborn, irrational, and illogical predisposition was suggested towards this non-belief. Thus, Sri Krishna explains that the knowledge he is going to impart is faith-specific. One must be non-envious and faithful to understand it. Faith is not opposed to knowledge, but is actually a prerequisite for receiving it. Shlokas 4 to 10 talks about inconvincible relationships. Here, an idea is conceived within the mind, just like a child is conceived within the womb. The qualities and characteristics of God is unlimited. They cannot be contained within any boundaries, and thus God's activities and relationships are considered unimaginable. In this section, Sri Krishna begins to impart knowledge of this unconvincible relationship with the universe and all living entities. While the knowledge gives an indication of the character, greatness, and capacity of God, and also exposes our inability to comprehend the subject matter through an ordinary logic and reason. Shloka 11 to 25 talks about the idea of non-worship. Even after Sri Krishna explains about the opulences or what we call the luxuries and the qualities in his personal form, there are many who misunderstood the Supreme. Because Sri Krishna appears in a human like form, some people consider him like an ordinary human being and believe a personal form of God to be a very basic concept. There are a second category of group of people who believe that God manifests in innumerable form represented by various demigods, each of whom are worthy of worship. While the third category of people couldn't perceive of anything beyond the universe and therefore considered the cosmos to be the supreme object of worship. All such people bypassed the idea of worshipping the Supreme Personality, whom one can see face to face and have a relationship with him, while some people claim that all paths and all pathways lead to the same destination. Here, Shri Krishna highlights that he grants different results to people's worship based on their motivation and understanding. Shlokas 26 to 34 talks about the splendor of bhakti. Shri Krishna establishes the personal form of God to be the highest and the most complete manifestation of the Supreme. The greater something is, the higher is the qualification to achieve it. For example, if you want to get into a university, you need higher grade. Or if you want to buy a bigger house, you need a big amount of money. Similarly, to approach God in the most intimate and personal way, a disciple need a greater qualification. And what is that qualification? That qualification is complete purity of consciousness and freedom from any selfish motives. Shri Krishna explains that such purity is characterized by constant spiritual absorption with mind, body, and world, whereas one entire life becomes a spiritual offering saturated with love and devotion. Shloka 9.34 says, Manmana bhav mad bhakto mad yaji mam manaskuru me vashyashi yuktvaivam atman mam paranayaha. Here Shri Krishna says, O Arjuna, engage your mind always in thinking of me, because my devotee offer respect to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Now we begin to understand the essence of chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga, attaining the Supreme. In the previous chapter, Shri Krishna urged Arjuna and all devotees to always keep their minds within Ishvara. In this chapter, Arjuna asked Shri Krishna, how can I know Ishvara when my eyes cannot see him? The answer to Arjuna's question is the main teaching of this chapter in the form of natural, historic, Puranic ideas and objects that serves as Ishvara's expression or manifestation. When discussing the subject of spirituality among different audiences, certain reservation invariably seems to surface. People complained that they cannot see God at work. That is, he is not manifested in person before their eyes, and they want to have a direct experience of God's existence. Can you show us God? Only then we are going to believe in him. In chapter 10, Shri Krishna explains this mystery through the concept of oneness and difference, how a sadhak can simultaneously perceive God as a source of creation and also see God within the creation. Though this idea needs a deep comprehension and fundamental shift in the mental perspective and realization of God from deep within. Shloka 10.8 says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam paravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitah. This shloka talking about there are many who repeat God's name, serve Him, and meditate on Him. But there are very few who are capable of pure devotion born of true realization that He is the source of all things, everything in the world. Pure devotion is therefore the result of real understanding of the creative power of Lord and His wonderful manifestation. Shlokas 1 to 7 talks on the idea of the source of everything. Modern sciences found upon the approach of ascending knowledge, where something attempts to understand the reality in its fullest extent by experimental studies. Shri Krishna makes a simple but very powerful denial of such an approach. He explains how something which has been created cannot understand its source independently. For example, if someone wants to ascertain the identity of their father using a purely experimental approach or an assumption, then it would be highly impractical and most likely unconvincing. But if somebody firstly accepts the testimony given by their mother and then subsequently experimented via medical means, then such an approach would be successful. In the same manner, all the material and spiritual creation have their source in Krishna. One who approaches Krishna as a guru can get scientific insight into their identity and purpose. Later, Sri Krishna explains how such knowledge can actually be directly perceived. Shlokas 8 to 11 talks about the essence of Gita. These 4 shlokas contain the crux of Bhagavad Gita and describe spirituality in its 3 essential stages. Stage 1, Sambandha, knowledge of one's relationship with God and the universe. Stage 2, Adideya, the practice and application in daily life. Stage 3, Prayojana, the mature fruit of Adideya. It is the pure spiritual consciousness and unbounded love for God. Thus, Bhagavad Gita is actually the spiritual science of hypnothesis, that is Sambandha, experimented, that is Adideya, and conclusively observed, that is Prayojana. Verses 8 to 11 gives a roadmap to spirituality from beginning to end. Verses 12 to 42 talks upon the idea of God is everywhere. Arjuna is satisfied by Sri Krishna's explanation and requested him to elaborate further on his characteristics and qualities. In response, Sri Krishna described the most prominent among his limitless and all-pervading qualities. By doing this, he explains how one can actually know about him, meditate on him, and see him everywhere. It is not that Krishna is physically in all things, he mentions, but rather he is the source of the richness of these things. Their strength, faith, fame, wealth, and so on. After naming 82 qualities, Sri Krishna concluded by stating that these simply hints at his glory. He pervades and supports the entire universe with mere fragment of his energy. Shloka 10.41 says, Yad yad vibhuti mat sattvam Shrimad urjitam eva va tat tat eva va gacchacha tvam mama tejo naswambhayam. This is shloka number 10.41. What does the shloka is saying? Here, the entire universe is mere fragment of Krishna's energy. All beautiful and glorious creation spring from the spark of his splendor. And here we complete the summary of chapter 9 and chapter 10. It should be noted that there are many schools of thought and perspective when it comes to the understanding of Bhagavad Gita. And the information presented here nearly scratches the surface of the topic. This podcast presents the microscopic fragment of the broader knowledge of the greater epic. Connect with me to get the deeper insight on how the shlokas perfectly resonates with the current situation in our lives and how we can apply the teachings of Bhagavad Gita to transform our lives. First few people can book a free session on the critical aspect of Bhagavad Gita for the long-term success. शेयर कीजिए अपने experiences, अपनी growth मेरे साथ on Walkthrough with Bhagavad Gita by Shipra Uppal. No one's life is perfect. We are all born to experience the imperfections and sufferings. But imperfections and sufferings are all about learning, no? How would I evolve if I don't suffer? How would I enhance my understanding on life if I don't suffer? How would I educate myself if my imperfections don't bother me? Imagine a life where everything is fair, then what's the learning? Imagine a life where I get what I want, then where is the evolution? Why should I work hard when everything just go my way? Well, growth is a consequence of going against the gravity, and going against the gravity invites sufferings. Is there a formula of utilizing the perspective of pain to grow? Like we say, pain is inevitable but suffering is optional? Yes, there is, and the formula lies in Bhagavad Gita. Well, there are books and scriptures that talks about the pain and offers some solution too, because every book has detail, but Bhagavad Gita has principles. And these principles can be subjectively applied in every individual life context, in every age. To me, Bhagavad Gita has been my guiding force, as what happens to us as our life experiences is inevitable, but how we respond to it is our choice. Namaskar, I am Shipra Uppal. I am an NLP coach and practitioner, a chakra healer, a voiceover artist, a leadership coach, and the founder of SARATHI Voices, Visuals and Spirituality. Apart from being an entrepreneur, I am also a soft skill trainer, an author, a researcher, a corporate event management, and a preacher of Bhagavad Gita too. At SARATHI, I conduct NLP sessions blended with spirituality and help people to connect with the supreme element and observe an upliftment in every aspect of their lives. I shall be speaking on this platform. आइए बातों बातों में सारथी के साथ भागवत गीता के आध्यात्म के सार को साझा करें on Bhagavad Gita, a walkthrough for life with Shipra Uppal.